You know what's interesting? A lot of shit is interesting. I'm like processing myself. Yeah, a lot of shit has happened. Even just within these past few weeks, these past few months, these past few years. A lot of shit has gone on. And I feel like a majority of the time I have been extremely anxious. I have been depressed at very low vibrations. But I feel like today I've left my cocoon, right? And I actually feel joy, and it's not bad. I feel like I've been so attached. And actually, I think it's due to what I was doing yesterday. I was writing down all the negative programming I have embedded within my mind. All the shitty shit I say to myself. I wrote it down. I started writing it down a couple days ago. But specifically yesterday is when I realized that I have been identifying myself with my traumas, with my difficulties, with my problems, and putting all my attention into just being this ball of dark energy instead of reminding myself that I am the star. I'm just surrounded by darkness. There's a difference. I'm not that dark energy. Sure, there's that shadow side. Sure, there's darkness embedded and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. But my point really is I've been attaching... I've been holding on so tightly to these versions of myself that no longer suit me. And I wrote it down yesterday being like, I'd have to read it. But I was kind of like, I've been identifying with depression, anxiety, fear, survival mode for so long. 2244. Or 244. And that's why I've been limiting myself from feeling joy, because I've genuinely thought for so long that I was just that negative energy, 306. And I wouldn't let myself feel joy. And that's interesting, because sure, I still have like my moments, it just started today that I actually felt joy after so long, and it felt nice, because I've just been really depressed, anxious, and so on and so forth. Like, sure, it hasn't been as intense as when I originally separated from my predator, Martina Kamala, in September or August, whatever. We stopped talking for a month. I brought her back into my life, and then I let her go again and just completely cut her off, blocked her, etc. And sure, this time around it hasn't been as dark as the time I cut her off in September, but it's still been pretty heavy and a bit tough, just not as intense, because back then I was feeling extremely suicidal, depressed, lonely, blah blah blah. But now I'm like, after bringing her back into my life, which I consider a blessing now, I realize I don't need anyone. Because when I cut her off September, August type, around that time, I was still very codependent and thinking, I need someone here with me, I need a friend, I need someone to love me, this and that. This time around, I'm like, no one's gonna love me the way I love me. No one. I mean, probably, yeah, someone. once I start loving myself more, because I have a lot of deep rooted programming and conditioning that needs to be deconstructed and decolonized. Because I just, it's not life. I haven't been living, really. So, yeah. Yeah.